Alright, so in my last video, I stated that I'm not very good at analyzing or understanding music, and I'm going to prove that right now. Because I want to talk about Underscores, who is my favorite pop artist right now, mostly because Chapel Roan got really popular when I wasn't looking, and I needed a new pop girly to be hipster about. I've been listening to Underscores for a while now, and I really enjoy her work. It's great, but I've only recently discovered her music videos, and I find them really interesting to contextualize with the rest of her music because it feels completely different to me. Not in a bad way, but in a way that adds a lot of complexity to the songs that I didn't really recognize before. I'm going to start with Old Money Bitch, which is one of the more recent music videos that have come out, and I want to talk about this song specifically because when I was listening to it without any visuals, it seemed like one of the more straightforward of the songs. Like, it seems very clear to me that it's playing with the idea of, like, the rich popular girl who's really mean. Or if not mean, the power that's associated with her being the rich popular girl influences the social atmosphere whenever you're interacting with her. And I still think that's true to a degree, but when I watched the music video, it seemed to have a lot more sympathy for that character than I would have initially realized. Underscores herself is in the music video, and she's doing her usual thing, with the same emotion in the song as you would typically see in a pop punk music video or something. She's very emotional, has a strong, angry feeling in both her vocals and in her appearance, just going all out in both areas. But what I assume to be the old money bitch isn't really condemned in the video or in the visuals. A lot of the video is actually through her perspective, and it gives a very sympathetic edge that I didn't really hear in the song at all. We follow through her perspective, and while we see that the other people have the same degree of uncomfortability that the song seems to suggest, seeing it through her perspective makes it seem like it's not her specifically that the song is condemning, but a larger social system that's going on. There's also a lot of abrupt images of old white men that have a lot of energy to them, and stern, condescending faces, which I think is an interesting aspect to think about, because it seems to have sympathies for the old money bitch as the result of these old men. So the Old Money Bitch music video is a really basic synthesis of these two ideas, but I think Locals is a lot more difficult to decipher. When I was listening to Locals without any visuals, I was thinking that this is like the most obviously coded trans song I've ever heard, and I have found it surprising that she has stated that the only trans-coded songs in this album are Johnny 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 and Jeez Louise. She said that in an interview somewhere, and I find it really hard to believe that Locals, Girls Like Us, is not in any way transcoded, but I guess that's how it is. Maybe my interpretation is wrong. There's a major focus on the parts of the body at the very beginning of the song that gives a kind of uncomfortable feeling. Like, it gives me the idea of the body as a place that you're uncomfortable with, that you can't really conceive of without thinking about every aspect of it and how it doesn't really make sense. There is also the part about why girls like us are rotten to the core, which again gives the feeling of a trans woman. And this combination of being uncomfortable with your body and a social misogyny against a very specific kind of woman really makes it seem like it's about a trans woman experience. But then we get to the music video, and the music video is completely different. It's really hard to say that the visual itself is supporting that reading of the song, because what we're seeing is a truck derby and a hot dog eating contest, and the only ostensible trans woman in the song, really the only woman in the song, is Underscores herself, and she isn't really the subject of the video. It's more of a depiction of a community, and each person is just a small part of that community. And we're seeing smaller interactions throughout a larger event instead of following a single subject like in the Old Money Bitch video. And for a song whose subtitle is Girls Like Us, it seems strange that the video is almost exclusively focusing on men and very masculine associated actions. We're seeing this truck derby, we're seeing physical fights between men, We are seeing a hot dog eating contest, which is getting focused on the men. And these very masculine activities seem to contrast with the ideas behind the song. And besides Underscores herself, women are relegated to the background. We're very rarely actually seeing a woman in any of the shots. And when they are, their faces are usually blurred. Whereas, while a lot of the men's faces are blurred, that doesn't really happen nearly as often. We usually see the face of the man as a whole, and the only woman we really see is Underscores, again. And I'm having just a really hard time trying to just figure out what these two conflicting ideas, the visuals and the song, really mean for the video as a whole. I honestly do not get it. It's really confusing for me. But I keep on thinking about it, and the song is an absolute banger, so I keep listening to it, and I keep watching the video because I really like the video as well, even though I don't get it. I don't know, maybe someone will figure it out for me so I don't have to think so hard. I'm thinking like the way the body is being used is supposed to compare with the start of the song, the arms, body, legs, flesh, skin, so sinew, whatever. I was close. I was pretty close with that. And so when we see people eating and see them fighting, we're supposed to see these bodies as like bags of flesh instead of as subjects, and they're all just coming together in this one area. But then I don't see how the Girls Like Us section of the song combines with that idea. I don't get it. I'm literally just running my mouth right now. Anyway, I want to talk about the overall Underscores Wall Socket album video. It's about an hour long, and it's just a shot of her in the back of a truck, just driving throughout a rural countryside. We see some suburbs at the beginning. We go outside that area into a farmland, and eventually we get into the city while the sun is setting, and it turns from day to night throughout the entire album. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I love this video. If I were to treat it as a film, which I do, it would be one of my favorite films of 2023. It's just fantastic. I love it so much. It's very Pitchapong Weir aesthetical coded, like he would do in Blissfully Yours or in some of his more experimental shorts. Just looking out the back of a truck as it's driving throughout nature and going through just small pockets of human life like houses and businesses. That combination is just really powerful to me. It's a video that really highlights something that is seen throughout a lot of Underscores music videos, especially the lyric videos. The lyric videos are just a lot of aerial shots of these similar spaces. Some are realistic satellite footage, while others are more digital PS1 style aesthetics that I find fascinating for another reason, because it's just showing these spaces and how a person just feels when you're going through these spaces and thinking about the contents of the songs. And watching Underscores lip sync these songs while just driving throughout this area feels really powerful to me. It's like going on a drive and seeing all this beautiful nature that seems to be completely separate from the rest of your life as a place of transition. It is a nowhere space when you're driving on the road, yet you're still thinking about these larger ideas and how you're connected to the world and the social systems around you, and how you are still a subject even when you're physically outside of that space, which I think is just a great encapsulation of the kind of disassociation from the modern world that we often feel when we're thinking about these issues, that I don't really see a lot in any kind of medium, but especially in film, which are often very narrative based and often try to enclose these ideas into a single understandable thesis. So just seeing her emote while singing and while just driving around looking at everything around her feels very relatable to me. And I especially love that her hat flies off during the middle of singing and she just stops and puts on a jacket at some point. It feels very real to me and very authentic. It doesn't feel staged or planned. It's just going with the flow, listening to this music, and seeing where we go. Those are my rambling thoughts about Underscores. I love her music. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around all this stuff. Anyway, that's it. Bye.